Imagine running on a treadmill that never stops. No matter how fast you run, you never get anywhere. That is exactly what happens when you live your life chasing people's approval. One day they praise you, the next day they tear you down. Today they smile at you, tomorrow they gossip behind your back. And the sad reality, you keep running, exhausting yourself and losing your peace, all for people who may never truly be pleased with you. So I ask you, how long will you keep running after something that will never give you rest? My brothers and sisters, when you begin to live your life chasing after people's approval, you will notice one thing very quickly. It never ends. It becomes a cycle that drains you from the inside out. You wake up every morning thinking, what will people say? How will they see me? Will they like what I am doing? Will they accept me? That constant fear becomes a prison, a heavy chain tied around your neck. You smile when you don't want to, you agree when you should not, you stay silent when you should speak, and you speak when you should remain silent, all because you are afraid of people's judgment. The sad reality is, no matter what you do, people will always have something to say. If you dress one way, someone will mock you. If you change your style, someone else will still criticize you. If you are successful, they may envy you. If you struggle, they may laugh at you. If you stay quiet, they will accuse you of being weak. If you speak up, they will say you are arrogant. You cannot win this game because the rules keep changing. People's standards are never fixed, their moods are never stable, and their opinions are never reliable. So why destroy yourself running after them? I want you to think about this. How many times in your life have you done something you were not comfortable with, something that did not bring you peace, only because you wanted to impress someone or you were afraid of disappointing them? Maybe it was a friend, a colleague, a family member, or even a stranger on social media. You put on a mask to appear perfect in their eyes. And then, after all that effort, what happened? They forgot, they ignored you, or worse, they still criticized you. And deep down inside, you were left empty, frustrated, and exhausted. This is the cost of always seeking people's approval. You end up losing yourself. You stop living according to your values and start living according to the moods of others. You no longer make choices for your own growth or for your faith, but for the fleeting applause of the crowd. You no longer recognize who you are because your entire identity becomes dependent on other people's opinions. That is a dangerous way to live because it eats away at your happiness. It weakens your confidence and it distances you from the truth. And here's something important to remember. People's approval is temporary. It is unstable. It can disappear in a moment. Today, someone may call you the best person they've ever met, but tomorrow the same person can call you the worst. Today they may cheer you, tomorrow they may boo you. Their words and their judgments change with their moods, with their circumstances, and even with gossip they hear from others. Do you really want to build your life, your decisions, your peace of mind on something so shaky and unstable? When you chase approval, you become a slave to people. You hand over your power to them. You allow them to dictate how you feel about yourself. If they praise you, you feel good. If they criticize you, you feel worthless. Imagine giving strangers that much control over your heart. Imagine allowing people who don't even truly care for you to decide whether you are worthy or not. That is not freedom, my brothers and sisters, that is slavery. But when you decide that the only approval you seek is the approval of your Creator, suddenly everything changes. Your heart becomes lighter, your decisions become clearer, and your life becomes freer. Because the one you are trying to please is consistent, is just, is merciful, and never changes his standards. What is right will always remain right. What is wrong will always remain wrong. When you live to please the Almighty, you don't have to worry about shifting standards or changing moods. You don't have to run on that endless treadmill anymore. Think about how much stress, how much anxiety, and how much sadness comes from worrying about what people think. You walk into a room and you wonder if they like your clothes. You post something online and you keep checking how many likes you got. You achieve something good and you are more worried about whether people noticed it than about the value of the achievement itself. That pressure never stops because people will never stop having opinions. They will never all agree. And if you base your happiness on that, you will never truly be happy. Let me remind you of something very simple. When you are buried one day in your grave, it will not matter what people thought of your hairstyle, your outfit, your social media, or your bank balance. What will matter is whether you lived a life that pleased your Creator. When you stand before Him, no human being's approval will matter, no amount of likes or followers will help, no applause will be counted. The only thing that will matter is, did you try your best to live in a way that earned His pleasure? Did you seek His approval above all else? My brothers and sisters, every single one of us will face criticism in life. Even the best of people, even those who are kind, honest, and pure, they were criticized, mocked, and rejected. If people found fault in those who were the most upright, what makes you think they will not find fault in you and me? You cannot stop people from speaking, but you can stop giving weight to their words. You can stop letting their judgments dictate your peace of mind. And if someone likes you, that is good. If they don't, it should not destroy you. If people appreciate your efforts, be grateful. If they ignore them, know that your Creator never ignores even the smallest act of goodness. If someone praises you, remain humble. If they criticize you unfairly, remember that their words cannot change who you really are. They are only opinions, and opinions are not reality. You were not created to be perfect in the eyes of people. You were created to strive, to grow, to improve, and to seek the pleasure of the one who made you. That is your purpose. That is your freedom. That is where you will find true peace. Once we recognize that living for people's approval is a never-ending trap, the question then becomes, how do we break free from it? Because it is not easy. From the time we are children, we are taught to look around and see what others think. A little child takes their first steps and they immediately look at their parents to see if they clap. In school, we are worried about whether classmates will laugh at us. As adults, we worry about the neighbors, the colleagues, the community, and even strangers online who don't know our struggles, don't care about our journey, but still feel entitled to have an opinion about us. This mindset becomes so deeply ingrained that it feels almost impossible to live without seeking validation. But the truth is, it is possible. And not only possible, it is liberating. The first step is to remind yourself constantly that people's opinions of you do not define your worth. They do not add to it, and they do not take away from it. Your value is not determined by how many people like you, follow you, or praise you. Your value is determined by the sincerity in your heart and the actions you take for the sake of your Creator. If the Almighty accepts you, you are successful, even if the whole world rejects you. And if He rejects you, then it does not matter how many millions of people cheer your name. That perspective has to be rooted deep inside you, otherwise the opinions of others will keep shaking you. Secondly, you must train yourself to say no. This is one of the hardest lessons because many of us fear rejection. We fear that if we refuse, people will be upset, they will not like us, they will distance themselves. But think about it carefully. What kind of friendship or relationship is it if it is based only on you saying yes to everything? That is not love, that is not respect, that is control. You are not here to be controlled by the moods of others. You are here to live with dignity. And part of dignity is the ability to say no when something goes against your values, your faith, or your peace of mind. Some people will leave you when you begin to live authentically. They will no longer benefit from your willingness to always please them, and they will walk away. Let them go. Do not chase them. Anyone who abandons you because you refuse to compromise your faith or your dignity was never meant to stay in your life. The right people, the sincere people, will respect you even if you disagree with them. They will value you even if you do not always give them what they want. And above all, you will have gained something far greater. You will have gained peace with yourself and with your Creator. Another important point, my brothers and sisters, is to reflect on the temporary nature of people's approval. Think about social media. You post something today and people praise you, they like it, they share it. Tomorrow, you post something else and suddenly the same people turn against you, accusing you, mocking you, unfollowing you. If you tie your self-worth to those reactions, you will be pulled up and down every single day like a leaf in the wind. But if you tie your self-worth to the Almighty, your value does not change. He does not abandon you when trends change. He does not discard you when you make a mistake. His mercy is constant. His love is greater than all of creation. And His judgment is the only one that truly matters. I want you to remember something powerful. Every single person who lived before you, no matter how famous, no matter how wealthy, no matter how admired, has returned to the earth. Their names may still be remembered, but their approval, their applause, their judgments, none of it matters to them now. The only thing that matters is what they sent forward for the life to come. And one day, you and I will be in the same position. When we are lowered into our graves, all the people who once spoke about us will go back to their lives. They may talk about us for a day, a week, or a month, but then they will forget. That is the nature of people. But your deeds will not forget you. Your sincerity will not abandon you. Your Creator will not overlook what you did for His sake. So why invest so much of your energy in chasing something so shallow, so temporary, so unreliable? Why not invest that same energy in building a relationship with the one who never abandons you? When you focus on pleasing Him, you will find a strange and beautiful thing happening. You will find that many people still respect you, even if you are not bending to please them. Why? Because sincerity has a way of shining through. People may disagree with you, but they cannot deny the strength of someone who lives with integrity. And even if some dislike you, it will not matter, because the peace in your heart will outweigh their criticism. My brothers and sisters, there is another danger in always seeking people's approval. It makes you lose your voice. It silences you when you are meant to speak up. Many people see something wrong happening, they know it is wrong, but they remain silent out of fear. What will people say if I speak? Others go along with what is wrong, pretending to agree, because they are desperate not to be excluded. This silence, this false agreement, this pretending, it eats away at your soul. You begin to feel trapped inside your own life. And eventually, you reach a point where you no longer know what you stand for. But when you stop caring about people's approval, you gain your voice back. You can speak the truth with kindness. You can refuse to go along with something that is harmful. You can stand up for what is right, even if you stand alone. And that is a far more powerful and honorable way to live than to be surrounded by crowds who only like you because you are pretending. Of course, this does not mean you become harsh or arrogant. It does not mean you deliberately upset people or ignore their feelings. Seeking Allah's approval does not mean being rude to His creation. On the contrary, it means you treat people with kindness, you fulfill their rights, you respect them, but you do not compromise your faith or your integrity just to win their applause. You balance compassion with principle. You show love, but you do not worship people's opinions. That balance is what makes you strong and respected. Let me share something to reflect on. Every single day you wake up with a limited amount of energy. If you spend that energy chasing people's approval, by the end of the day you will be exhausted, drained, and still unsatisfied. But if you spend that same energy seeking the pleasure of your Creator, helping others sincerely, living with dignity, and staying true to your values, By the end of the day, you will feel content even if not everyone praises you, because your heart knows you did what was right. That feeling, that inner peace, is worth more than all the applause in the world. So the next time you find yourself hesitating, the next time you're about to do something just for the sake of being accepted by others, pause and ask yourself, if everyone disapproves of this, but my Creator approves, am I willing to go ahead? And if everyone approves, but my Creator disapproves, do I still want to do it? The answer to that question will tell you where your heart really lies. Let us think even deeper about what happens to a person who constantly seeks the approval of others. Over time, they begin to live a life of fear, a fear of being disliked, a fear of being rejected, a fear of not being good enough in the eyes of people. This fear controls their every move. It decides what they wear, how they speak, where they go, and even what they believe. Their entire life becomes shaped by this invisible pressure, this constant need for validation. And the saddest part is that this fear never goes away. The more you feed it, the stronger it becomes. Think about the young person who goes online posting pictures every day just to get likes. If they receive 100 likes today, they feel happy for a moment. But tomorrow, if the likes drop to 80, they feel worthless. If someone leaves a negative comment, that one comment erases all the 100 positive ones. Why? Because they have tied their value to the approval of people who don't even know them. They live with anxiety, always chasing the next like, the next compliment, the next approval. And in the process, they forget who they really are. They forget that their worth was never meant to be decided by a screen or by strangers. And it is not only the young who fall into this trap. Adults do it too. How many people buy things they cannot afford, not because they need them, but because they want others to notice? How many attend gatherings, not because they enjoy them, but because they fear what others will say if they don't? How many people remain in toxic relationships, abusive friendships, or harmful environments because they are scared of what will people think if they walk away? These are heavy chains, my brothers and sisters. And each time you choose people's approval over your own peace, the chain becomes tighter. Another tragedy of living for people's approval is that you become inconsistent. You are one person with your friends, another with your family, another with your colleagues, and yet another online. You wear different masks in different situations, but deep down, you know those masks are not you. That inner conflict creates stress, confusion, and emptiness. It is exhausting to pretend all the time. And eventually you reach a point where you no longer know your own true self. You begin to ask, who am I really? Do I even know? That identity crisis is one of the most painful consequences of approval addiction. But when you live for the approval of your Creator, you become free of that burden. You don't need to wear masks. You don't need to perform for anyone. You don't need to constantly calculate what others will think. You simply try your best to do what is right, to live with sincerity, and to remain consistent. And that consistency brings peace, it brings confidence, it brings stability, because you no longer live a double life. What you are in private, you are in public. What you are online, you are in real life. There is no contradiction, no pretending, no endless exhaustion. Now let's talk about another danger. When you constantly seek approval, you become easily manipulated. People notice your weakness and they use it against you. They know you are desperate to please, so they push you into doing things that harm you. They guilt you into decisions you do not want to make. They control you by withholding praise or threatening disapproval. And before you realize it, you are no longer living your life. You are living their life. They are pulling the strings and you are dancing to their tune. This is why approval seeking is not just exhausting, it is dangerous. It makes you vulnerable to toxic people who will take advantage of you. There are countless people who gave up their dreams, their values, even their faith, just to keep others happy. And what happened in the end? The same people they sacrificed everything for abandoned them, mocked them, or replaced them with someone else. That is the reality of human beings. If you sacrifice your peace for their approval, they may still not remain loyal to you. But if you sacrifice for the sake of Allah, you will never lose. Because He never abandons you, never replaces you, never forgets you. My brothers and sisters, let me remind you of something profound. Every time you do something to impress people, you are handing over a piece of your freedom. Slowly, piece by piece, you become enslaved. But every time you do something sincerely for the sake of Allah, you are reclaiming your freedom. You are breaking those chains. You are saying, I am not here to live according to people's moods. I am here to live according to my purpose. Nay, and once you taste that freedom, once you stop chasing people and start chasing your Creator's pleasure, you will wonder why you ever wasted so many years in chains. But how do you get there? How do you stop caring so much about what others think? It begins with perspective. The next time you feel pressure to please someone, ask yourself, will their opinion matter in 10 years? Will it matter when I am lying in my grave? Will it matter on the day of judgment? Most of the time the answer will be no. People's opinions matter for a moment, but then they fade away. They forget. They move on. They don't even remember the details of the things you stressed over, yet you carried that burden for days, weeks, even years. Isn't it foolish to destroy your peace for something so temporary? Let me share a simple example. Imagine you are in a stadium filled with 50,000 people. Each of them is shouting something different at you. One says go left, another says go right, another says stop, another says run. If you try to follow them all, you will collapse in confusion. But if in the middle of that noise, your coach, the one who truly knows what is best for you, gives you an instruction and you focus only on his voice, you will succeed. Life is exactly like that. The crowd of people will always shout conflicting instructions, each one demanding your approval. But your Creator is the coach who knows your path, your limits, your destination. If you focus on His approval, the noise of the crowd no longer confuses you. Another reflection, how many times have you witnessed someone doing good, but people still criticize them? A person gives charity and people say they are showing off. A person prays and people say they are pretending. A person achieves something and people say they were lucky. No matter what you do, there will always be a group ready to doubt you, ready to belittle you. If you allow their negativity to define you, you will never have the courage to continue. But if you know deep inside that you are sincere and that your Creator knows your intention, then you can keep going, no matter what people say. That is why, my brothers and sisters, you must train yourself to rise above the noise. Don't let the crowd control your peace. Don't hand over your self-worth to people who cannot even control their own. Anchor yourself in something greater, something eternal, something unshakable. Anchor yourself in the approval of the Almighty. That is where true strength lies. That is where true freedom lies. And that is where real success lies. My brothers and sisters, when we talk about breaking free from the prison of people's approval, we must understand that this is not something that changes overnight. It is a process, a journey, and it requires conscious effort. Many of us have spent years, even decades, shaping our lives around what people will say. To suddenly stop caring is not easy, but step by step, by changing the way you think, by reminding yourself of the truth, and by practicing certain habits, you can gradually free yourself from this chain. The first step is to reprogram your mind. From childhood, we have been trained to look at the faces of others to know whether we are doing well. But now you must train yourself to look up and ask, is my Creator pleased with me? This requires a shift in focus. Every time you feel pressured to please people, pause and remind yourself, their opinion is temporary, but Allah's opinion of me is eternal. This reminder must become a habit. You may need to repeat it to yourself 100 times a day at first, but with time it will become natural. And once it becomes natural, you will begin to feel a weight lifting off your shoulders. The second step is to simplify your life. Much of our need for approval comes from living to impress. We buy clothes we do not need, drive cars we cannot afford, attend events we do not enjoy, all because of the fear of being judged. But if you strip away the unnecessary, if you focus on living within your means and according to your values, you will find that you no longer need constant validation. Simplicity frees you. When you stop competing with others, when you stop comparing yourself to their lifestyles, their achievements, or their appearances, you begin to live for what truly matters. And in that simplicity, you find peace. The third step is to practice saying no. This may sound small, but it is one of the most powerful habits you can build. Every time you say yes to something you do not want, just to gain approval, you are teaching yourself that people's opinions matter more than your own peace. Start with small things. If a friend asks you to do something unreasonable, politely decline. If colleagues pressure you to join in something that goes against your values, respectfully refuse. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. You may fear losing them. But remember, if someone walks away because you stood for what is right, you have not lost anything. In fact, you have gained strength. The right people will respect your boundaries. The wrong people will leave. And in both cases, you win. The fourth step is to surround yourself with people who uplift you, not people who constantly demand your approval. If your circle is full of those who only like you when you are convenient for them, or who constantly criticize and manipulate you, then you will always struggle. But if you are around people who respect you, who remind you of your values, who encourage you to be true to yourself, then you will find it much easier to break free from approval addiction. The company you keep shapes the way you think. Choose your company wisely. The fifth step is to remind yourself of death and the hereafter. Nothing makes people's opinions shrink in importance more than remembering that one day you will be placed in your grave alone. The same people whose approval you chased will not come with you. Their words, their judgments, their laughter, their applause, none of it will matter. What will matter is whether you lived sincerely, whether you tried your best to please your Creator. If you keep that moment in mind, the noise of people becomes smaller and your focus becomes sharper. Now let me give you some everyday examples. You might be afraid to wear modest clothing because you think your colleagues will judge you. But when you remind yourself that your Creator's approval is worth far more than their opinions, you will wear it with pride and you will feel stronger for it. You may hesitate to pray in public because you are worried about what others will say. But when you focus on Allah's approval, you realize that those who mock you cannot benefit or harm you in the least, while the one you are praying to controls your entire existence. You may fear leaving behind a harmful habit because you worry your friends will laugh at you. But when you choose your Creator's pleasure, you discover that real strength is walking away, even if it means walking alone. My brothers and sisters, understand this truth. You cannot and will not please everyone. Even if you try your hardest, someone will still disapprove. You will always be too much for some people and not enough for others. If you base your life on their opinions, you will always feel like a failure. But if you base your life on sincerity, on living for the one who gave you life, then you will always feel like a success, even when people disapprove. That is the difference. Let us think about history for a moment. Every great reformer, every prophet, every person who stood for truth, they faced opposition. They were criticized, rejected, and mocked by people. If they had lived for people's approval, they would have given up. But they kept going because they knew that the approval of their Creator outweighed all the criticism of the world. That is why they were successful. That is why they are remembered with honor. And that is why you too must learn to rise above the noise and live with sincerity. Another practical step is to check your intentions often. When you do something good, ask yourself honestly, Am I doing this because it is right or because I want others to notice? If the answer is the second, redirect yourself. Do it quietly, do it sincerely, do it in a way that earns only Allah's approval. Sometimes you may find yourself disappointed because people did not notice your efforts. But then remind yourself, Allah noticed. He always notices. And His reward is far greater than the shallow praise of people. It is also important to forgive yourself for past mistakes. Many of us carry guilt because we lived for people's approval for so long. We feel ashamed that we compromised our values, that we sacrificed our peace. But guilt will not help you if it only makes you feel stuck. Instead, turn that guilt into growth. Say to yourself, I may have lived for people yesterday, but from today, I will live for Allah. The past is gone, but the future is still open. Use it wisely. And remember this, when you stop living for people's approval, you will begin to feel lighter. You will sleep better at night. You will smile more sincerely. You will speak more confidently. You will no longer need masks. You will no longer fear rejection. And you will discover a peace that approval chasing could never give you. That peace is priceless. That peace is freedom. So, my brothers and sisters, make this choice. Choose to free yourself from the endless treadmill of chasing people's opinions. Choose to live for the one who created you, who sustains you, who controls your destiny. That is the only path to true happiness. My brothers and sisters, when we speak about the dangers of seeking people's approval and the freedom that comes when you let go of it, we must go even further and reflect on the long-term effects. What kind of person do you become if you never escape this cycle? And what kind of person do you become if you finally break free? These two paths are completely different, and the choice you make will determine not only your peace in this life, but also your standing in the next. If you continue to live for people's approval, you will notice your self-respect fading over time. You begin to feel small inside because deep down you know you are not living for yourself nor for your Creator. You are living for others. And when you look in the mirror, you may smile on the outside, but you know that smile is forced. You know that behind the smile, there is someone exhausted from trying to keep everyone happy. And the truth is, you will never succeed. You can please one group, but another will always complain. You can adjust for one person, but someone else will criticize you. This endless loop robs you of joy, of authenticity, and of confidence. And when you live this way for years, the consequences become severe. Some people fall into depression because they feel like they will never measure up. Others develop constant anxiety, worrying about what people are saying behind their backs. Some lose their faith because they are too afraid of being judged for practicing it openly. And many lose their families, their relationships, their identities because they lived a double life. One for the public and one hidden. That is the destruction caused by approval addiction. It eats away at you slowly until you are only a shadow of the person you were meant to be. But now let us look at the other path. Imagine a person who decides, from today I will stop destroying myself for the opinions of people. I will live sincerely, I will do what is right, I will seek only Allah's approval. That decision transforms everything. They may still face criticism, but it does not crush them anymore. They may still face rejection, but it does not define them. They may still lose friends, but they gain peace. And most importantly, they gain a sense of purpose. They know why they wake up in the morning. They know what drives their choices. They know whose smile they are truly living for. And that clarity brings a calmness that no amount of approval can match. Let me paint this picture more clearly. Imagine two people going through the same situation. Both of them decide to do something good. Let us say they donate quietly to help someone in need. The first person is doing it for people's approval. They post about it, they wait for likes, they wait for comments. If they receive attention, they feel happy. But if nobody notices, they feel empty, as though the act was wasted. The second person, however, does it purely for Allah. They do not care if anyone notices. They do not care if anyone praises them. They walk away with peace, knowing their Creator saw it. Even if the world ignored it, the Almighty recorded it. That person goes to bed with a light heart. Do you see the difference? Both gave, but only one found peace. The truth is, my brothers and sisters, people's approval is a temporary high. It is like a sugar rush, sweet for a moment but gone quickly, leaving you craving more. But Allah's approval is lasting. It nourishes your soul, it fills you with peace, it anchors you in purpose. You don't need to keep chasing it, because once you have it, you know it is secure. His pleasure is not fickle, it does not change with gossip, it does not vanish with trends. His pleasure is rooted in sincerity and consistency. That is why living for Him brings stability. Another important point to consider is that when you live for people's approval, you will often compromise your values. You may tell lies to fit in. You may engage in harmful activities just to avoid being excluded. You may keep silent in the face of injustice because you are afraid of backlash, and each compromise chips away at your integrity. One day you wake up and you realize you have built a life on dishonesty and fear. But when you live for Allah's approval, you gain courage. You may still feel fear, but you will act with strength. You will speak up kindly when something is wrong. You will walk away when something is harmful. You will remain true to your principles, even if it costs you popularity. That kind of integrity cannot be bought. It is priceless. Let us also reflect on the way seeking approval shapes our relationships. Many people end up in friendships or marriages where they are constantly bending themselves just to be liked, just to avoid conflict. They agree to things that harm them. They accept disrespect. They allow mistreatment, all because they are afraid of being abandoned. This is not love, my brothers and sisters. This is slavery disguised as love. Real respect, real friendship does not demand that you destroy yourself. It accepts you as you are, with your flaws, your boundaries, and your dignity. When you stop living for approval, you stop tolerating toxic relationships. You begin to demand respect, not through arrogance, but through self-respect. And that change transforms the quality of your life. Another consequence of approval seeking is the endless cycle of comparison. You look at what others are doing, you measure yourself against them, and you feel inadequate. Someone buys a new car, and suddenly your car feels old. Someone travels and suddenly your life feels boring. Someone gets praised and suddenly your achievements feel small. But remember, comparison is a thief of joy. You cannot live your life comparing your behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reel. Everyone has struggles you do not see, pain you do not know, and burdens they carry in silence. By seeking their approval, you are chasing an illusion. But when you focus on Allah, you stop comparing. You know that your journey is yours alone, your tests are yours alone, and your success is not measured against anyone else's. That realization sets you free from the poison of comparison. Now let me ask you a serious question. How many people do you know who lived their lives for others, only to be forgotten when they were gone? They bent themselves for family, for society, for colleagues, but the moment they passed away, life moved on. Their sacrifices were rarely remembered, their names faded. That is the nature of this world. People's approval does not last, but Allah's approval does. A single act of sincerity can echo into eternity. A single prayer, a single kind word, a single sacrifice for His sake can become the reason for your forgiveness and your success in the hereafter. So why trade something eternal for something so temporary? My brothers and sisters, another area where approval seeking destroys us is in our faith itself. Many people hide their prayers, hide their values, hide their beliefs because they fear being mocked. Some water down their faith to fit in. Some abandon it altogether because they want to avoid criticism. But remember, the very people whose opinions you fear will not be standing beside you when you meet your Creator. They will not answer for you. They will not protect you. They may not even remember you. Why then give them so much power over your soul? Stand firm, even if it is difficult. Hold on to your faith, even if it costs you popularity. Because losing people for the sake of Allah is nothing compared to losing Allah for the sake of people. And here is something beautiful to remember. When you live sincerely for Allah, He often places love for you in the hearts of the right people. You may lose some friends, but you will gain better ones. You may lose popularity with the crowd, but you will gain respect with those who truly matter. You may walk away from toxic approval, but you will walk towards healthy companionship. This is a blessing that only sincerity can bring. Let us now think practically again. Each day, before you make a choice, ask yourself, am I doing this to be seen, or am I doing this because it is right? If the answer is that you are only doing it to please others, pause and rethink. Redirect your intention, even if it is something small, like the way you dress or the words you speak. Make it sincere. Because every action, when done sincerely, becomes an act of worship. And every action, when done for show, becomes a burden. This simple practice of checking your intention will slowly rewire your heart. And finally, my brothers and sisters, remember that your life is short, too short to waste on people's fleeting opinions. One day you will be gone, and so will they. Do not spend your limited time trying to live for the crowd. Live for the one who gave you that time in the first place. Live for the one who knows your struggles, your secrets, your sacrifices. Live for the one who loves you more than anyone else ever could. His approval is the only one worth chasing. My beloved brothers and sisters, we have spoken so much about the dangers of seeking people's approval, about the prison it creates, about the exhaustion it brings, about the chains it wraps around your soul. We have reflected on the freedom that comes when you live sincerely, when you stop destroying yourself for the crowd and start living for your Creator. But now, I want you to take a moment and imagine your life if you really applied this lesson. Imagine how different everything would look. Imagine waking up in the morning and no longer worrying about what people will say about your clothes, your choices, your career, or your lifestyle. Imagine no longer being paralyzed by the fear of judgment. Imagine being free to do what is right, to live with peace, to walk with dignity without the heavy burden of constantly pleasing others. That is what happens when you make Allah's approval your priority. That is what happens when you free yourself from the treadmill of human opinions. Now picture this. You walk into a room full of people. Some smile at you, some frown at you, some whisper about you. In the past, that would have shaken you. It would have kept you awake at night, wondering what they thought. But now you smile back calmly because you know their thoughts cannot harm you, their whispers cannot define you, their approval cannot change your destiny. You are no longer tied to them, you are tied only to your Creator, and that tie is unbreakable. Think also about your relationships. When you no longer live for people's approval, you stop allowing yourself to be used. You stop bending to every demand. You stop tolerating disrespect just to avoid rejection. And do you know what happens then? You start building real relationships, genuine ones, based on mutual respect and sincerity. The people who stay with you are those who value you for who you are, not for how much you please them. And the people who leave, they were never meant to be in your life. You begin to see clearly who truly cares and who only wanted to control you. But beyond this worldly freedom, there is an even greater reward. My brothers and sisters, the moment you place Allah's approval above all else, you begin to live with the certainty that your efforts are never wasted. People may ignore you, but Allah never does. People may forget you, but Allah never will. People may abandon you, but Allah will never abandon you. And when you stand before Him on the day of judgment, all those sacrifices you made to please Him will come back to you multiplied, magnified, and waiting as your reward. Think of the peace you will feel on that day when the crowd is terrified, when people are running after anyone to intercede for them, and there you are calm because you know you lived sincerely. You may not have been the most famous, you may not have had the most followers, you may not have been celebrated by society, but you were consistent, you were honest, you were true. That peace is priceless. That peace is the fruit of living for Allah's approval alone. Now let me ask you, is it really worth destroying your peace for people who do not even remember you a week later? Is it worth compromising your values for the shallow applause of a crowd that will disappear? Is it worth sacrificing your hereafter for opinions that change with the wind? The answer, my brothers and sisters, is no, 1,000 times no. Do not waste your life chasing shadows. Do not waste your heart on empty validation. Do not waste your soul on chains that bring nothing but exhaustion. Instead, take that same energy, that same effort, and invest it where it truly matters. Invest it in your prayers, in your sincerity, in your kindness, in your faith. Invest it in pleasing the one who created you, who sustains you, who will resurrect you, and who will judge you. Every day remind yourself of this simple truth. People's approval ends when you die, but Allah's approval lasts forever. People's approval can change overnight, but Allah's approval remains constant. People's approval may benefit you for a moment, but Allah's approval benefits you in this life and the next. Which one will you choose? And remember, my brothers and sisters, living for Allah's approval does not mean neglecting people. It does not mean being arrogant, harsh, or uncaring. On the contrary, it means you treat people with kindness. You fulfill their rights. You show compassion. You are generous. But you do not compromise your faith or your dignity for their applause. You love them, you respect them, but you do not worship their opinions. That balance is the key. That balance is what makes a person both respected and at peace. So, from this day forward, make a promise to yourself. No more destroying yourself for approval. No more sleepless nights worrying about what people think. No more changing your identity just to fit in. No more sacrificing your peace for shallow applause. Instead, commit yourself to a higher standard. Commit yourself to sincerity. Commit yourself to seeking Allah's approval before anyone else's. When you feel the temptation to please people, pause and ask, will this please my Creator? When you feel the fear of rejection, remind yourself, the only rejection that matters is if Allah rejects me. When you feel the sting of criticism, whisper to yourself, people's words cannot define me. My worth is with Allah. And when you succeed, when people praise you, keep your heart humble and remind yourself, this praise is temporary, but Allah's reward is eternal. My beloved brothers and sisters, life is short. Do not spend it running after people who cannot benefit you. Spend it walking steadily towards the one who controls everything. Do not hand over your peace to people who do not even control their own. Hand it over to the one who holds the keys to peace itself. Do not waste your tears on people who forget you quickly. Save your tears for the one who counts every tear, who knows every pain, who answers every prayer. And I leave you with this final reminder. Every soul will taste death. On that day, your wealth will stay behind, your family will stay behind, your followers will stay behind, your reputation will stay behind. The only thing that will accompany you into your grave is your deeds, your sincerity, your faith. Do not let the shallow opinions of people be the reason you lose that eternal companionship. Live for what lasts, not for what fades. Live for the one who never abandons. Live for the one whose approval is worth more than the world and everything in it. So, my brothers and sisters, stop destroying yourself by seeking approval. Free yourself today. Take a deep breath, lift your head high, and walk forward knowing that the only approval you need is that of your Creator. If He is pleased with you, you have succeeded, even if the whole world turns against you. And if He is displeased with you, you have failed, even if the whole world stands to applaud you. That is the reality, that is the truth. And that is the path to peace, to dignity, to success in this world and the hereafter.